Good news, everyone! We're on the threshold of Pride Month, so this week we're going to take a pause to hear from the community. Here we go.
Hello. Today we will be taking a look at all of the different ways to refer to your estrogen that were left in my comments and giving them each a letter grade, beginning with antihistamines. In addition to rolling off the tongue very nicely, our system also rewards bonus points to portmanteaus. A. Yet while femininity retains the bonus for being a portmanteau, it loses points for not having a direct connection to T. B-. QT stickers in reference to estrogen patches is both direct and accurate, as these are stickers that will make me cuter. B+. We return here with another portmanteau to antibiotics, which unfortunately doesn't quite roll off the tongue as well as antihistamines. A-. And last but not least, titty skittles. Please see me after class. That concludes our episode for today. Join us next week where we examine different options to cull your testosterone. Goodbye.
My name is Autumnilla. This is my 19th day of voice training, and look at my shoulders. Maybe a closer look's in order. Oh, you can really see my tan line. Wait.
I'm letting you know right now, whatever you're doing, you're not doing it gay enough. You could always be gayer. You could always do more gay shit, and yet here you are doing the gay bare minimum. It's time to lock in. Get those tattoos. Start embracing your body. Get those piercings. Go kiss some girls. Touch some grass. This 2025 is the year of doing things gaily and gayer.
Hey, what's a woman? The gender usually but not exclusively attributed to females. So then what's a female? The reproductive category usually but not exclusively attributed to someone with two X chromosomes. You keep saying not exclusively. Yes, some people have XXY or XO, or they have X and Y chromosomes but the Y doesn't activate, so they don't develop the male bits. Wait, so some women can have a Y chromosome? Yeah, genes are like a blueprint to build a house. Just because you have instructions to build a chimney doesn't mean the workers will always build one. So you can have a Y chromosome, but in all other aspects be female. That's confusing. Alright, what's a tomato? What? What's a tomato? It's a vegetable? Scientists say it's a fruit. Huh? But it's not sweet. Yes, but it has seeds, so scientists categorize it as a fruit. Yeah, but we use it more like a vegetable. That's the point. Nature doesn't categorize things as clearly as we'd like. We want things to be simple. Fruit or vegetable, black or white, man or woman, but nature's complicated, so just give people a break. Oh, I understand. So tomatoes have a Y chromosome. Oh my God, forget it.
Good afternoon. I'll try to keep my comments brief, as I believe all of our time has been wasted enough already. My name is Shepherd Janeway. My pronouns are they, them, theirs, and I am here today alive, still transgender after puberty, still alive and incandescently happy because of access to gender-affirming care. Lack of access to gender-affirming care directly contributed to my suicidality as a minor living in the state of Wisconsin. My testimony is dedicated to my friend Mindy. The 10-year anniversary of Mindy's death by suicide will be next week. As a minor living in Wisconsin, lack of access to gender-affirming health care and hostility from those empowered towards transgender youth directly contributed to Mindy's suicide. I will not be arguing much in favor of gender-affirming healthcare. The next few minutes of my comments will likely not sway you any more than, I don't know, explicit statements in support from the American Academy of Child and Adolescent Psychiatry, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Medical Association, the American Psychiatric Association, the American Public Health Association, the Endocrine Society, the Pediatric Endocrine Society, the Society for Adolescent Health and Medicine, the World Medical Association, and more, but I think at this point I'm really pushing the limits of our collective attention. I am frankly loath to even validate the evocative rhetoric that children are being bamboozled into mutilating their bodies with even a scrap of acknowledgement, but I will say this. The vast majority of sex and gender-related medical procedures which are performed on minors with insufficient education are performed on intersex infants and children to force them into physical alignment with the gender binary. We have the data on that, and this bill will not protect those children or their families from such treatment. Gender-affirming care is administered to transgender minors only under stringent observation by qualified professionals. The scientific consensus is that gender-affirming care drastically reduces suicide attempts in youth, especially when administered between the ages of 14 and 17. And once again, let's keep in mind that the standard of gender-affirming care for minors is puberty blockers, and that is it. I sincerely hope that you will not allow reactionary fear tactics to outweigh a 14% decrease in suicide attempts among a population that faces up to 40% suicide attempt rates, the highest of which occur among youth. What I am going to say is this, because I believe it is important to name the monster in the room. Gender-affirming care does not ruin the lives of children, it saves them, and the people who introduce and support this legislation know that. The movement to legislate against the inclusion of trans people and against life-saving healthcare for transgender children is the first step in the concerted, organized, and explicit effort to eradicate and exterminate transgender people, and it will certainly not be the last. They know that the introduction and passing of the bills like these will kill trans people, including children, and that is their goal.
Because you're not actually interested in protecting women in Texas. That's the guise of the bill, right? It's the Trojan horse that you use for all this anti-trans nonsense. I remember for years as Republicans, gay marriage is going to end the world. And of course, then the public opinion shifted, the Overton window moved, and you had to pick a new scapegoat. That's what you always have to do. It's not that you can actually sit here and do the business of the people, make lives better for Texans like me. No. There's no time for that. We got to bully 1% of the population. We gotta harm them as badly as we possibly can. We gotta make them afraid. We gotta make them stay in their homes so that you're not forced to actually acknowledge that they exist. If we were sitting here like 50 years ago, maybe 60 years ago, instead of talking about trans women going into bathrooms, you'd be talking about black women going into white bathrooms. Do y'all ever get tired of being on the wrong side of history?
As you know, my name is Lily, and I am a senior at CB East. I wanted to start off with thanking Dr. Delangelo for your service on the board. It means so much to me. I wanted to speak tonight to get my closure to you, the current board majority. I realize that no amount of words I say will make you understand or listen to the sheer damage that you have done to my family. Damage that continues tonight as you vote to pass Policy 123.3. Unlike many of my peers, I spent my time in Central Bucks in fear. Fear for my life, fear for my family, and fear of you. You have stolen years from me, something that I can never get back. I mourn every day how I will never have experienced a secondary education where I was treated like a human by this board majority. Because it was never about protecting kids. It was about erasing people like me from Central Bucks. If it wasn't, then why have countless situations of my life being threatened or reduced to a subhuman level have been left unaddressed or not properly handled, even being considered a predator in bathrooms, in locker rooms, and today in sports? And even with such gross negligence, you continue to make policy after policy preventing people like me from just living our lives and seeing ourselves in the world around us. So I did what I could. I spoke out. I came to these school board meetings. I participated in the student focus groups with the superintendent, conversations with my principals, and still here you are, gazing at me with blank, lifeless stares, closed off to the voice of a teenage girl whose life can be crushed and altered in the palm of your hand, with a yay vote, the signing of yet another policy. To the students that are here for the history class, this is my message for you. Keep speaking up for yourself. Even when there are some people who will refuse to listen, there are people everywhere who you inspire and who will lift you up. You are not alone. Even if it is the most isolating feeling, your voice has power and it has the ability to incite change. To Dr. Lukabaugh, and I know you are listening. To Dr. Lukabaugh, you have proven to be a coward. I have been speaking to you since I was in 7th grade to effect positive change in the district, but it is evident now that you have not followed through on anything that we have discussed. In fact, you have been a willing participant in the nonsense and harm. How can anyone in administration see the hurt that me and many other students have brought to these meetings and just say, well, we need to move past it? Well, Dr. Lukabaugh, I can't move past it. It is my life. It is my day-to-day. It is my truth. With each day you have sat as the superintendent, my life has been stripped away from me. I hope that every day that you think about my face and how you have utterly failed me. And I hope that all of you on the current board majority takes all of this away too. But hey, at least you make an amazing college essay and first AP art piece. Thank you.
The pride flag is now the official city flag of Salt Lake City, Utah. This is not AI. But Utah just banned all pride flags. Last week, they became the first state in the country to ban pride flags from all schools and government buildings. So I thought this was fake, but it's very real, and the story is wild. What happened is Utah banned pride flags from flying on government property. So Salt Lake City, Utah took their city flag and they made the pride flag part of it, so now they can fly their city flag legally.
Also, right, if you can call your dog a human's name, right? What's your name, my lovely friend?
Frank.
Frank. That is a strong human name. Is it short for anything? What would it be short for? Frankenstein. Frank. That is a strong... Fist bump, my friend. Frank is a strong human name, right? You're a human, your name is Frank, and I like it. But if you can call your dog Frank, come into my house and pet my dog, Frank, and you expect me to come into your house and call your dog a human's name, you can fucking call me Mrs., all right? Let's have a little bit of perspective, shall we? And I bet Frank can piss wherever he likes as well, can't he? Oh, Barbara, he's done it on the carpet again. Leave him alone, Barry. He's still learning. I'm still learning. I did it standing up for 24 years. Where's my pat on the head? I just think it's sad. I think it's so very sad that these men feel like they need to mutilate their bodies to look more like women. Sorry, Frank's balls came off quick enough, love. Your dog is further along in his transgender journey than I am. I will stop calling myself a woman when you stop calling that dog your baby. It's a man in a dress. That is a dog in a onesie.
I am the son of God, but I also am God, and we are the same thing, but we are also different. And also there's a ghost, and that is also the same thing as God and the same thing as me, but different than God and different than me.
Okay, I'm following.
I was assigned male at birth, but actually I'm a woman.
Whoa, hold the fuck up.
On March 18th of 2022, I made the decision to go on estrogen. It was my 20th birthday. It was a month and some change after me and my girlfriend at the time broke up because I had made the decision that I was going to go on estrogen, and it was completely an incompatible decision with continuing our relationship. I lost friends, colleagues in my classes began to look at me differently. My professors treated me differently. I came into conflict with my family over my decision to go on estrogen, and it was a life-altering decision that really harshly affected me. And it is almost 3 years later, and it is the best decision I ever made in my entire life. I'm not joking. I'm not exaggerating. It is the best decision I ever made. The decision to transition, it's made me happier. It's made me more artistic. It's made me feel better in my relationships, in my friendships. It's made me appreciate life more. It's made me appreciate my beauty more. It's made me better at makeup. It's made me Lila. It's made me this person that I thought I lost. There was this person deep down when I was little that I loved, and I lost her along the way because she was kind of like pushed down, right? She was kind of like suppressed by the people around me. And I finally feel like I'm starting to be that person, that outgoing, crazy person who'd love to jump around and dance, and I feel like her. And if I had to go on estrogen to do it, if I had to break up with that girl, if I had to lose some friends, I would do it all over again.
So what's your take?
I think Republicans should have their own bathrooms because I don't feel safe around them.
100% agree. Let them stop fighting over the bathroom thing.
It shouldn't be an issue.
This is actually a great solution.
Yeah, gender neutral, but Republicans have one, and then we have our own. I don't mind sharing a bathroom with people of all genders. When the women's room line is too long at a bar, I'm always going in the men's. I truly don't care. And I just think, like, Republicans shouldn't be around children. You know, like, I don't have kids, but if I had a kid and I was in the bathroom and my child saw allow a Republican in there, they might be like, Mommy, why does she look like that?
Well, also, this would just solve the debate. It would just be over.
It would be
We
over.
would be done. We would never have to talk about bathrooms again.
I also think it would smell a lot worse in there, because I know Republicans, their diets are just like ribs and the blood of immigrant children, so I feel like that's probably not easy to digest.
It will smell crazy in there, bro.
It's gonna smell really, really
It will
bad.
smell crazy. If we're gonna do makeovers on both, like, could we do makeovers on liberal bathrooms
Oh,
as well?
absolutely. We can
'Cause
have enhancements, we can have free Wi-Fi.
free Wi-Fi is good. I would like a lazy boy.
Absolutely.
After, you do the work.
Yeah, it could
I do the work.
Well, it's work in there. It's not for pleasure, it's for work.
We put in work and maybe like a little like a TV.
We can make it fun. Like, it doesn't have to be...
The bathroom should be fun.
It's something we could look forward to, but when you're sharing it with Republicans, I just don't think that's possible.
Well, they have bidets or no bidets?
I don't even know if they have toilet paper. I don't know what they do in there.
It's come to my attention that brands these days don't want to work with liberal content creators anymore because in Trump's America, if you go woke, you go broke. And as somebody who has bills to pay, I think it's time for me to stop being afraid of the backlash and finally make the conservative content that I've always wanted to. So I'm becoming a trad wife. Now, our first order of business in transforming ourselves into a quintessential traditional wife is doing our makeup in a way that's gonna please our husbands. Conservative men don't like it when women try and look pretty. That's what a Jezebel would do. Instead, they want us to look like we just wake up flawless every single day. So we're gonna trick him with a natural makeup look. This means doing proper skincare because our husbands don't want us to age, a light sheer foundation so it looks like we never leave the house, the tiniest bit of bronze eyeshadow that you can barely see, Glow Recipes Natural Flush to make it look like we're getting all giddy when he talks about stocks, and some gentle brown mascara so you can really see our eyes glaze over when he gaslights us about his secretary. For the dress, we want it to look like it's 1882, even though we're chronically online and we bought our house with Bitcoin. And for the hair, we're going messy and chic because we want to look working class but always have to be camera ready. And there's the look. Now I'm a trad wife. I'm gonna go tell the internet that raw milk is safe despite all the scientific evidence. Bye!
I get messages from other trans girls that are like, hey, I love what you're saying, but I just wish you would put in some effort and like put on some makeup so you don't make the rest of us look bad. And I think that's really fucked up. In a way, I get why it would piss you off, because when you're sitting there putting on a full face of makeup every day so you don't get clocked, so you do pass, and then here's this other tranny yapping at 500,000 people being like, I don't care that I didn't shave today. I'd be like, what gives? And what gives is my fucks. I don't have them anymore. My transition has been about setting myself free, not about finding another set of gender norms to adhere to. Passability is not going to save us. Devotion to white supremacist beauty standards is not going to save us. Remember the acceptable gay movement from the AIDS crisis almost through Obergefell about these gays are just normal people and let them into society. They're just like us. At the beginning it was helpful in opening people's minds, but it ultimately sanitized queerness to the point where folks are still homophobic and they haven't interrogated it. If we can't look at clocky dolls, if we can't look at bricky girls, if we can't look at girls who haven't shaved and still love them as women, we will never set ourselves free. We won't. If you find yourself adhering to gender norms and subscribing to beauty standards, it's probably worth interrogating. Why? What are you getting out of this? Back to the original point, I'm not making you look bad. I'm just a different kind of girl than you are. And that actually speaks to how much our community has grown and evolved. And I think that's a good thing.
I've never felt unsafe around a trans woman, ever. My womanhood has never felt threatened by a trans woman, ever. And if your womanhood has, I think that speaks more to the fragility of your womanhood than anything about trans women. Because quite honestly, how pathetic to target one of the most oppressed groups in our society. Honestly, loser behavior. And for all those people who say they care about women's sports and women's safety, where are you petitioning for more funding for women's sports? Where are you petitioning for better legislation to persecute sexual assault against women? Overwhelming majority of which is committed by cis men. You don't care about women. You just want to target those that are already oppressed. Loser behavior.
Comments like that one just baffle me. I mean, it's not a mystery that I'm transgender. By the way, Felicia, you see what I did there? Bye, Felicia. By the way, Felicia, it's not a trans, not a noun, it's an adjective, as in she is transgender, or as you put it, he is. And if that he is supposed to upset me or somehow ruin my day, no. If someone looks at me and says he, I would question their eyesight, not my identity, though I might check my makeup. But when I get past the silliness, what I'm left with is wondering why. Why would someone feel so insecure in who they are that they would feel the need to say something like that? Because no matter what some dumbass politician or preacher says, the mere existence of transgender people is not a threat to anyone or anything. Transgender people are, wait for it, people. And like all other people, we are just trying to live our lives, raise our families, go about that one life we have in peace and happiness. And that somehow there are folks who find that so horrifying, frankly, astonishes me. I mean, what difference does it make to you? Seriously, Felicia, or anyone else, what difference does it make?
I love the instant camaraderie that I feel with other trans women. You know what I mean? Like when I could encounter another trans woman or a group of trans women and we could have nothing in common outside of being trans. We could be from completely different walks of life, different ages, different anything. And there is just this sense of security and safety and joy that happens. And it's like we really, like, we understand each other better than anyone else could. And I swear, it's like I feel all of history's queer joy, fear, resilience, anger, and liberation at once in this moment. And it's just like this it's subtle and it's not an explosion, but it's like it's there and you can feel it. And I honestly, like, I don't have a lot of trans friends, and I sometimes forget the power of that connection. You know what I mean?
Okay, but I actually love this. I will be using the term girly dad from now on. Thank you for that little gift. Also, while we're here, I just want to say a quick shout out to all the trans mothers out there. I see you, mama. This comment did make me think about language, though, and the way that we use it when it comes to how we describe family roles. Like, I have several friends who are adopted themselves or who have adopted kids, and I feel like when we understand adoption, that experience has so much to teach us about the way that we use language. Like if we ask the question, what is a mom? We might say, well, someone who gave birth. But if someone adopts a child, we don't hesitate to call her a mom too, even if she didn't carry the baby biologically. Why do we do that? Because we understand that if talking about motherhood was only a discussion about biology, that would be incredibly reductive. Being a mom isn't just about biology, it's about love, care, and presence. Being a mom is about the role that you play in someone's life. Language is meant to describe relationships. It's not about policing who counts and who doesn't. So when a kid calls her trans mother a mom, it's not a lie, it's just the truth of their relationship. Words like mom or dad aren't owned by biology. They belong to love, relationship, and care. Language matters. And that's why, yeah, I'm a girly dad.
make it very clear. There's a lot of you out there that are sitting there thinking, it's too late for me to transition. My time has passed. I should have done it earlier. I should have done it when I was a teen. There's also a lot of you out there that are like, I started too late. I feel so behind. I wish I did it earlier. You are not too late. You are not too late to the party. You did not start too late. You are not missing out because your path doesn't look like someone else's. Most of us had to just fight to exist. We spend so much time just fighting to exist in our own bodies. While other people were out there going on first dates and trying out prom dresses, we were navigating survival. We were navigating safety. We were navigating dysphoria. So no, your timeline isn't broken. You weren't too late, and it's never too late to transition. Everybody's path is unique. You know, there's so many people that are out there that are like, if you didn't transition really young and you didn't know from a young age, then it's not valid. What? Guys, I barely knew what color I liked when I was 4, let alone my gender. I barely knew how to navigate middle school, let alone knowing that I was a girl. For most of us, we're just figuring it out, and that's fine. And it's like, don't sweat it. So if you feel like you're too late to transition, or you feel like it's too late for you to transition, for you to live your truth, for you to feel comfortable in your own skin, it's time for you to stop. It's time for you to stop the self-hatred. It's time for you to be honest with yourself and realize that your path is unique. Your path is special. Your journey and your transition is your own, and it's beautiful, all in the same. If you guys have any words of encouragement for other trans girls, or if you've had similar experiences with feeling like, oh, it's too late, leave it in the comments below. Help out your girls.
Have you ever noticed in old-timey newspapers how they used to cover transgender people? There was no culture war going on, and so they were actually surprisingly really cool about it. Watch this. Instead of debating our existence, we would get headlines like, XGI becomes blonde beauty. They even gender her correctly. Like, look at this. Jorgensen's sex has changed, and today she is a stunning woman. It's amazing. Or here's another one. Vanished sisters return as boys. And then they have this really cool anecdote where they interview him and he's like puffing a pipe and being really cool and saying, I've always meant to be a man. Even some of the terms for trans people were interesting, like this one, sex changeling. I like that. Let's reclaim it. I don't know, just sometimes it's interesting to look back to this time before we were this huge political football.
If you're having a bad day, I don't have advice for you. I do have this for you. I hope that helps.
If you enjoy content like this, be sure to subscribe. Transpositions Weekly is the first and only weekly trans news show in the universe, and we need your help to keep this show going. Contribute at patreon.com/thetranspositions. Spread the word over social media to let people know we're here, and tell us what stories matter to you by joining the community on Discord. Discord, of course, is where the memes live, and our meme of the week was posted by yours truly. And if you want to find out if a change in your playground status is right for you, join us. Also, if you have good news concerning trans people you'd like to see reported on, you can tell us about that in the Discord as well. For the Transpositions, I've been Ember Belrad. Happy Pride.